Hello students, today we are going to learn the poem The Lake Isle of Innisfree that is written by William Butler Yeats. This poem is very beautifully written, and the poet is talking about a place, Innisfree, that is the place where the poet has spent his childhood. And now as the poet is grown up and he is living in London, and he is missing this place in his free so much that he wants to go back and settle there. What he would do there and how would he feel there, these kinds of feelings or these kinds of thoughts have been shared in this poem, that is the Lake Isle of Innisfree. Before starting the explanation of the poem, let me tell you that this Innisfree is a real place. This is not a fictional place, but this is a real place where the poet has spent his childhood. And it is said that one day, when the poet was passing through a shop, passing by in the London street, a shop, and he saw a fountain there. And he listened to the sound of the water that was created by the falling water. At that time, he just reminded the place where he used to live when he was a boy, and he decided to write this poem, that is the Lake Isle of Innisfree. This well-known poem explores the poet's longing for the peace and tranquility of Innisfree. That means the place Innisfree, that is a peaceful place, and the poet still wants to have that peace. A place where he spent a lot of time as a boy. This poem is a lyric. Okay, this poem is a lyric. That means this poem can be sung like a song, same as A Slumber Did My Spirit Seal. In this poem, the poem is divided into three stanzas. You can see three quatrains having 4 lines each. First stanza is talking about the needs, basic needs, that is food and shelter. Second stanza is talking about the peace that will the poet have in every part of the day. Third stanza is talking about the memory. That means the poet is still remembering the place and how he is feeling now about the place. So these three stanzas are talking about basic needs, peace and memory of the same place, that is Innisfree. Let's start the explanation of the poem. I will arise and go now, go to Innisfree, and a small cabin build there, of clay and wattles made. 9 beans row will I have there, a hive for the honey bee, and live alone in the bee loud glade. See the meaning? Wattles, twisted stick for making fences or walls, and glade, that means an open space. I will arise and go now. First of all, who is I here? The poet. So the poet is saying that the poet will arise and go, and where he would go? He would go to Innisfree. The poet is saying that he would arise and go back to Innisfree, the place where he had spent his childhood. And what he would do there in these 3 lines, the poet is sharing his planning. The poet is saying that I will go to the place Innisfree, and what I would do there? First of all, I would make a small cabin there, a small hut. With what? Not with the artificial material or not with the stone and concrete and all that. He would make the hut or the cabin with clay and twisted sticks. Means the sticks and the clay he would use to make a small hut there. Then shelter need is fulfilled now. Now the poet is saying that as he would live there, he would need something to eat. So what he would do? He would grow 9 beans, 9 rows of beans. This point is showing that the poet will means he will have limited needs. Okay, he will not be greedy. He will not be so greedy to get more and more and more. No, his needs would be very limited, and he would don't means he would not worry about the luxurious life, and he would not means try to get more and more. He will live a contented life. He would live peacefully and with satisfaction. He would only grow 9 rows of beans, and he would make a hive there for honeybee, with the help of which he could get the honey, and live alone in the bee loud glade, means in the open space where he would have some bees that they would produce honey for the poet. Then he would live alone there, and he would listen to the sound, listen to the buzzing sound, okay, buzzing sound of the bees. This is showing that the natural sound of the buzzing bees, that they would give the poet peace, and the poet would means he would not be so greedy. He would be very far away from the city life, so he would live a peaceful life there. Okay, next stanza. Let me re-explain in a nutshell. The poet is saying that he would go and he would settle in the place that is Innisfree. He would go back there. He would make a small hut there using clay and the twisted sticks, and he would grow only 9 rows of bean, and he would have some beehives so that he could get some honey, and he would live alone there, listening to the sound that is created by the bees. This is the buzzing sound. He would listen to the buzzing sound of the bees in the open space, and he would live there alone peacefully. Next stanza. And I shall have some peace there. The poet would have some peace there. For peace comes a dropping slow. That means the peace comes slowly and gradually. Okay, as the peace comes slowly and gradually, so the poet would have some peace there, dropping from the veils of the morning. This line is very important. Dropping from the veils of the morning to where the cricket sings. uh, Let me tell you what these lines mean. This line means that the morning would be full of clouds, means there would be clouds during the morning time, during the dawn time. As clouds are there, so the view would not be so clear. Okay, view would not be so clear, and it would look like that the morning is carrying a veil. वेल क्या होता है? वेल मीन्स घूंघट या फिर कोई कवर. Okay, so the morning would carry a veil, means it would look like, and it would drop slowly the veil, and the poet could listen to the cricket song during the morning, and this would be very peaceful. Their midnights all a glimmer. The midnight, the nights will be full of shine because of the stars, and noon a purple glow, and there would be a purple color glow shine during the afternoon time, and evenings full of the linnet's wings. During the evening, the poet would be able to see the linnet bird who flutter its wings, and it looks so beautiful. So the evening will also be very peaceful, very beautiful. This stanza is very important, but let me clear the marks. Okay, one of my students suggested me to to use less the marker, and thank you for the suggestions. Okay, I like suggestions and I do try to follow them. In this stanza, the poet is talking about the peace that he would have in Innisfree. The poet is saying that he would have some peace there during the morning. Means in the daytime we have three phases, na? First morning, then afternoon, then evening, and at last we can talk about the night as well, or midnight as well. So in this poem, the poet is talking about all these times of the days. The poet is saying that I will have some peace there. Peace would come slowly and gradually during the morning as the view is not so clear, but still the poet could listen to the cricket song. And the morning would look like that a lady who is carrying a veil. During the sky would be full of stars, so there would be a shine. During the afternoon, there would be a glow that is of purple color. And during the evening, the poet would be able to see a bird that is linnet. Linnet is a small brown and gray bird with a short beak, a beautiful bird who would flutter its wings. Okay, flutter its wings, and it look very beautiful when it flutters its wings. So that's why the poet would be able to see the linnet during the evening. Why poet is saying all this? Because all these things are not available in the city. Okay, in the city the poet is leading a busy life, and he is not able to see all this. He is not able to enjoy the nature beauty. That's why the poet wants to go back to Innisfree and live there forever. And he would live alone there. Why? Because he does not want anyone to disturb him. The poet is saying that during the day, the entire day, he would enjoy the nature, the peace in different forms, and he would lead a peaceful life. In this stanza, the poet is memorizing, means the poet is still missing. The poet is saying he is determined that he will arise and go now, and for always, night and day. That means for or forever he would live there. I hear the lake water, means now the poet is in the present. Okay, here it is talking about the future. When he would go there, he would do this all, and he would enjoy these kinds of things. But here the poet is saying that in the present time, what he is feeling, he is saying that I hear the lake water lapping with low sounds by the shore. I can still hear. The poet is saying that the memories are still afresh in my mind. I can still hear the lake water that means creating a sound because of the waves, okay, by the shore, and he could still listen to those sounds. And no, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that if he is standing on a roadway and he is standing on a grey paths made by stone. Pavements means the paths made by stones. But still the poet can hear this sound. I hear it in the deep heart's core. In his heart, in the depth of the poet's heart, the poet can still listen to the sound of the Lake Isle that flows into the place that is Innisfree. Means in this stanza, the poet wants to convey that he missed this place. He can still hear the sound of the lake water, and now he is in the city. He is living in the city. So when he is standing, while he is there on the roads, on the streets, on the pavements, grey colored paths, he can still hear the sound in the deep core of his heart. And here, this pavement's grey. This is referring to the death and decay. That means the city life is very fast and materialistic. We are running after only the material things. We don't have peace. We are just living but not enjoying our life. That's why the poet wants to go back to the place Innisfree where he would have some peace, where he would live with the nature, in the lap of the nature, and he would means live his life peacefully. That's why the poet is talking about the place Innisfree. So word meanings we have already discussed. Sorry. Now this is time for the question ask. Now the question answers are very easy. What kind of place is Innisfree? In one word, you can just write down it is a peaceful place. Apart from that, you can elaborate it. Innisfree is a place where the poet has spent his childhood. This place is very beautiful and this place is very peaceful. There is a lake also that is named Lake Isle, okay, of Innisfree. Next question is asking about the three things the poet wants to do. Stanza number one, referring to stanza number one, but you are to answer thoroughly. The three things that the poet wants to do. First, he would make a hut, okay, make a small hut. Then 9 rows of beans he would grow, and he would have some beehives as well. Okay, these three things are which the poet wants to do. What he hears and sees there and its effect on him. What he hears, he would hear the stars, sorry, he would see the stars and the beauty of the nature. And what he would hear, the sound of lake water. Apart from that, the song of crickets, and he would see the linnets as well. You are to mention what he would see and what he would hear. He would hear the sound of lake water and the song of cricket. He would see the beauty of the nature and stars and linnets. And what would be its effect? The effect would be that the poet would have some peace. What he hears in his heart's core, he can still hear the sound created by the lake water, even when he is far from Innisfree. So this is what he could hear. Next question is, by now you may have concluded that Innisfree is a simple natural place full of beauty and peace. This may be the answer to the first question. You can use these keywords as well. How does the poet contrast it where he is now? Now he is in London, or you can just mention now he is living in a city. In the city, the life is very busy and materialistic. You have to learn these two words, materialistic. And in Innisfree, the life is very peaceful and close to the nature. The poet would live alone and enjoy his life. Do you think Innisfree is only a place or a state of mind? Yes, Innisfree is a place, is a real place. This is not a fictional place. The poet has spent his childhood there. That's why he is missing it. Does the poet actually miss the place of his boyhood days? This is very much clear. Yes, he is missing terribly. He wants to go back and live there. Next is, look at the words the poet uses to describe what he sees and hears at Innisfree. And what pictures do these words create in your mind? You are to share the pictures. Bee loud glade. Bee, that means honeybees. Loud means creating sound. Glade means open space. So this is referring to the buzzing sound of the bees living in the open space. Evening full of the linnet's wings. Linnet is a beautiful bird, a small bird which flutters its wings, and during the evening the poet would be able to see it. Lake water lapping with low sounds, that means the waves, okay, the waves creating sound by the shore in the place Innisfree. So these are the pictures that these words create. Look at these words. Peace comes dropping slow, dropping from the vales in the morning to where the cricket sings. What do these words mean to you? These words mean that the peace comes slowly and gradually, and during the morning the view would not be so clear, and the morning look like that it is carrying a veil. What do you think comes dropping slow from the vales in the morning? I have already told you. What does to where the cricket sings means? So during the morning the poet would be able to listen to the cricket song, but he would not be able to see it because the view would not be so clear to where the cricket songs mean. So the poet poem is done now. I have told you the answers, and I assure you, if you just read the poem very carefully and you just try to learn the explanation, you would be able to answer all these questions. I hope the poem is very much clear to you. Sorry, अभी भी थोड़ा सा मार्क्स काफी ज्यादा हो गए हैं. I still try to less, it means keep it minimized, but it is not possible for me because I am a teacher and I don't think कि मेरे को मैं बिना लिखे कुछ पढ़ा पाऊंगी. So sorry, next time I will try to improve more. All right, so this is all for today's video. I hope you like the video, and more important is to understand the concept to learn the topic. Thank you. Bye. See you in the next.